Hey friends, Hattie from Honeybee Stampers here. In today's video, I'm going to share with you some product that is retiring from the current Stampin' Up annual catalog. If you follow me or if you follow Stampin' Up, then you know that we've got a catalog that's retiring. Here's the cover, and we have a new catalog coming in, which is super exciting. Well, during the month of April, we have a list of items that are going away or retiring with this catalog. And if you've been paying attention, then you know a lot of the stuff in this catalog is selling out. Well, in today's video, I'm going to share with you some product that's actually still available for purchase. Some of it is on sale. So pay close attention because I also have a little tip for you with using the Stamparatus. So as you see here, we have the Many Messages stamp set, as well as the Messages die. This is the die here. It's actually just one single die that when you roll it through the die cutting machine, it's actually going to produce several little die cuts. And I've cut them out just to show you what they look like. These are great little labels. And if you stamp, like this actually cuts out all of these messages here. If I lay that over the top, you'll see how it will cut it out. But I'm going to show you how you can pick and choose which sentiment you want to actually use versus stamping the entire stamp, because this stamp is just one big stamp. I have seen some other demonstrators cut up the stamp set. I didn't feel like doing that, so I just wanted to leave it as one piece. And I'm just going to show you a little trick or a tip that you can use with the Stamparatus. So let me pull open, let me bring in the Stamparatus. So here is our Stamparatus. You're probably familiar with it. It actually took me a while, to be honest, to start using this Stamparatus. And now that I'm familiar with it and I use it quite a bit in my business. So here's the tip. Here's the stamp. Remember I mentioned it was just one big stamp. What you can do is grab some of our grid paper. This is Stamparatus grid paper, but I still use this paper for even my classes and events that I have, and just even with my personal stamping, I use this versus the large grid paper. You're going to place the grid paper in there flush against the sides, and I'm going to use the magnet, one of the magnets that comes with the Stamparatus, to hold it into place. Then you're going to take some ink. I'll just use our Memento Black just to share and show you guys how this works. Shaking the camera, sorry about that. So I'm going to ink up this entire stamp, and then I'm going to close it and press down. Okay, and when I open it back up, you'll see that we've got all of the sentiments there on the grid paper. Now you're going to want to take your chamois and clean off the ink here. The chamois is fantastic for cleaning off your stamps because unlike, I know some people like to use baby wipes, the baby wipes can leave like a little film or some lint behind that will pick up the ink and actually make your image not as crisp as you'd like it to be. Okay, now that I've cleaned that off, great. Now what I want to do is I'm going to take just a piece of paper here. And this is just a piece of basic white cardstock that I am going to put a sentiment on. So I think I'm going to choose the Be Strong, Be Brave, You've Got This sentiment. And this is you can, of course, use our regular ink pads to ink that up. But as you can see, the ink pad is much larger than the actual sentiment. So if you happen to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, then you probably have a ton of these little ink spots. Then I'm just going to use that. That's perfect for this kind of stamping. So I'm going to ink up that sentiment that I picked out. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to take my little label here, and I want this kind of in the middle of this. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Let me look at this for a second. Okay. And I'm going to stick it right there, and you can kind of line it up how you'd like using the grid to help you line it up. Let me add a little bit more ink. Now, again, you're going to want, I don't want that, it doesn't look like the congratulations is going to get on my card because you can see it's up a little bit higher, but just in case. So, let me clean up some of the bottom because it looks like the bottom's pretty close to my sentiment. And then what you do is you just close the Stamparatus down. And there you go. You have the sentiment that you chose on your label. Now, like I said earlier, you can actually stamp this whole thing if you wanted to, and then run it through the die cutting machine. You're going to get all these different sentiments out. But what if I just wanted to use one of these labels? Then when I'm die cutting, and I've done this for a class before, I'll just take smaller pieces of cardstock and place it over the label that I want to use and run it through my machine. So I've done that to get this little label right here, which is so pretty and cute. And I am going to ink up this one down here. So I'm going to make it actually vertical. Let's see here. So another great way to ink these up so that you can just choose which one you want versus stamping the whole thing is to grab our Stampin' Write markers. Now you would not want to use the Stampin' Blends for this. Those are alcohol-based markers and they won't work. When you're wanting to do some inking on a rubber stamp or a photopolymer stamp, you're going to need the Stampin' Write marker. So I use the brush tip, and you can see here that the brush tip has a little bit thicker of a line, and then the writing side is a thinner line. I know it's not very clear. It's a little fuzzy from what I can see on the camera, but you get it, right? And then I'm going to just ink this up. And to ink it up, I'll just lay my marker kind of on its side and brush some ink onto the sentiment. Now this is fantastic because I have all the control here and I don't have to worry about getting ink anywhere else. I guess I should have put my label down. So I want this to say thank you so ever much. Thank you ever so much. And I'm going to place it right there. Just wanted to see where it's lining up here. Okay. And I'm using the grid paper to help me out. Let me add just a little bit more ink here. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing that I did earlier. I'm just going to close the Stamparatus down, press on it, and there we go. We've got our sentiment on our label. So that's just a little tip for you if you happen to have this stamp set, or you could do it with anything, really, any sentiment that you have. I just find that this is such a great way to be able to pick and choose which sentiments I want. And so grab this grid paper, and then I will keep this grid paper and use it over and over again, as long as my stamp is in the same place. Okay, let's set that to the side. Now I want to share some projects that I created. Isolating different sentiments and using our designer series paper for this fun fold. So not fun fold, but this fun card layout. I actually got this card layout from my friend Jennifer, and it's just really a quick and easy way to showcase our designer series paper. And I even embossed this one, that sentiment. I just put Versamark on that big stamp. And I just love how these turned out. If you happen to be a subscriber to my newsletter, then you are actually going to see a tutorial for a step-by-step tutorial on how to put these cards together that you can replicate. So if you're not on my email newsletter and you'd like to be, I'll leave a link below that you could click on and join my email list. That is where I share honeybee happenings and Stampin' Up updates and events and things that you can participate in, sales that are going on, tips and tricks that I have. I'll share it with my email list. So let's bring in our catalog again and take a look at some of the items I mentioned to you. So it actually wasn't until I went through the catalog to mark up all of the retired items that I realized that there was another stamp set called Many Happenings that actually fits the same lineup with that die, and I'm kind of bummed that I missed that. I had this already and I just was not tracking that. So this one has sold out, unfortunately, but you can still get this one, the Many Messages, and you can get that while supplies last or until the end of April. So make sure that you hop on, and it's just $22 for that. And then if you really like the die that cuts it out, all these different little labels here, then you can purchase that. And the die is called Messages Die, and it's actually on sale. Instead of $34, it's only $27.20. Again, while supplies last, and I'm telling you, things are selling out. Now, I did go through, well, here's the Stamparatus page. So on page 144, you'll see the Stamparatus here. That's what I used. And then you can also purchase the grid paper, the small grid paper. It's only $6.50. And you can purchase that to just use to stamp. I especially like it when I'm stamping on my foam mat. I can just place it over the top of the foam mat to get that nice image with my photopolymer stamps. And I don't have to worry about that big piece of grid paper. But on page 130, and if you hop onto the Stampin' Up website, or I'll share my link to my personal online store, you can see which paper is left over. So we've got Beauty of the Earth, and actually let me get my cards out so I can show you again. So Beauty of the Earth is still available, and I used it to make that card there. This Bloom Where You're Planted, I use it to make this card. This one is such pretty paper. It's called Expressions in Ink. It is absolutely gorgeous. And do you see the gold foil? I mean, it's just beautiful. That's still available as of right now. Unfortunately, Hand Penned has sold out. In Good Taste is still available, and it's on sale. In the Wild is available, and it's on sale. Pansy Petals, that's still available. Here's the card I made with that, and it's on sale. Simply Elegant, this is another really beautiful designer series paper. It's got gold and silver and copper elements in it, and foiling, and it's just beautiful. That's still available. Sweet Symmetry, I shared some cards with this last week if you're on my email newsletter. So, and also on my social media on Instagram, I shared some cards with this. That's still available. So is Tidings of Christmas. This is a 6x6, and it's really a pretty pack of Christmas paper. You're a Peach is what I used to create this birthday card here. That's still available, and it's on sale. Okay, and then this is our regular color families that are available as well. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I will leave a little link below to join my newsletter, and also to shop my online store for any of the retiring product that you might be interested in. And if you enjoyed this video, please comment, like, subscribe. I appreciate that so much. All right, have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.